Says I'm going to make the new Broadway group. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councillors. This meeting is being visually and audio recorded for publication on the Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel, and you are very welcome. With that, we will start with the meeting. Thank you. All right, okay, welcome to the Recreation and Amenities Committee, Monday the 21st of March. We move immediately to apologies for absence, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Apologies received from Councillors Steve Ardell-Walter and Lord Escotton.
Okay. And yes, that's fine. Okay, any declarations of interest to be made?
As a trustee of the Thatcham Parish Hall.
And the same here, but as the council's representative,
yes,
to the trustees hall, and that is coming up later. Okay, may I have a proposal to take the minutes of the 22nd? Can I take them as block or take them separately?
On block.
Block of the 22nd of November and the 20th of December, please.
Oh, and you just
and the 28th of February.
So
and 28th of February. Yes, yes. Thank you. And seconded. Oh, thank you.
You got him first.
Thank you, Councillor Lillypop. And those four? Thank you. That's unanimous. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Sure, it's because I'm on camera. You say. Okay, fine. Item number 4, matters arising from previous meetings.
Nothing from me, Chairman.
Anything from members? No. Thank you. And we will move swiftly to the item 5, income and expenditure costs.
Members have a copy in front of them, so I won't pull it up on the screen, but not a great deal has changed since the last meeting, so nothing to highlight, Chairman, that hadn't already been answered by the services manager in previous meetings.
So no unexpected items. Okay. Thank you.
Most noted, Chairman.
Jeffrey. Thank you. And is that noted? Yep. Thank you very much indeed. We move to item 6, community project funds applications, to consider the 2 funding applications for Thatcham Parish Hall for funds to carry out essential maintenance. So one on the exterior lighting, £994.38, half of the project cost, assuming it be matched funding. And then item 2, the guttering, roofing and rainwater drainage, 1,740, half the project cost again. These applications will be uploaded to the Good Exchange run by our friends in Green Common Trust. If the committee is minded to sort the applications, fundings can be awarded via the Good Exchange and therefore subject to match funding. Funding available from the community grant scheme for 21-22, the balance is 3,297, and the community project fund balance is 6,500, which is obviously substantial. I have comments or questions.
Okay. So if I'd like to introduce this as I'm speaking now as a trustee of the parish hall, but just to note that I'm a trustee appointed by the town council. So the parish hall is the oldest and the oldest community building in Thatcham, and even though we have a large number of other buildings since then, community hall since then, it is still a valuable contribution to the facilities. It is showing its age, and it went through a period a few years ago where its viability was in doubt, but the new trustees have worked very hard to bring it back into a viable financial position. However, there is a backlog of maintenance, which they are addressing, the most important of which is a complete rewire of the building. However, there are these grant applications are for 2 urgent elements of the refurbishment. They're submitted as separate applications because in principle they're being addressed by different contractors, and in principle, the council could agree one, but not both. And the first is for exterior lighting. This is because the current lighting has failed or is unsafe, and that means that the passageway and the access around the building is not lit. And that is considered a hazard. Therefore, that is an urgent task, which should the funds become available, will be addressed very quickly. The second one is the guttering, roofing and rainwater drainage, which we've known for some time has been somewhat improvised. But when we had an inspection on that, we discovered that there's more work that needs to be done, and some of the underground drainage appears to be blocked. So we're asking for that work to the money to do the job properly there. And again, these two tasks, although part of the overall refurbishment, are self-contained, and doing them separately will not involve any extra cost when the overall refurbishment is completed. So we're asking that if the council can contribute 50%, with the other half coming from match funding, and I can confirm that the projects have, since the agenda was written, been uploaded to the Good Exchange. And hopefully that will enable the parish hall to, with the further work, which I have to say will be necessary in the coming year or two and will require further fundraising. But once that is done, the parish hall will continue to be a facility for the town for decades to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Jeffrey.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you very much indeed to Councillor Pike, Trustee Pike, which I've been here earlier. I had the privilege of being one of the council's nominees onto the trust board myself some years ago, so I am very familiar with what it's like trying to keep the parish hall in good condition when it is 100 years old, or not more than 100 years old, isn't it now, I think, and a lot of direct individual hard work went in. I know the trustees actually participated in scrubbing and cleaning and doing various things and painting or whatever. And it's my understanding that very much the same thing still applies now. I think this is good value for money. It's a way of ensuring that immediate problems are dealt with immediately. And it's a way of ensuring that, as you say, that we'll get the parish hall in good condition going forward for many years to come. And I would urge this committee to support both these applications, and Chairman, if you're prepared to accept it, I would propose that action on both applications.
Okay, well, we'll take a few comments beforehand.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question really to Madam Clerk. Are we aware of any other pledges that have been made by the Good Exchange as yet? If there are, then that would contribute to the project funding and reducing it. We would be prepared to.
Okay. Not that I'm aware of, Councillor Cole, the application has very recently been uploaded, so I'm not aware that has been.
I have to say I'm supportive, especially as last time I used the parish hall, I tripped over in the dark going back to the car park, so I'm well aware of the problems that they've got.
Maybe you should have declared an interest.
Declared an interest in the sprained wrist.
Just which is in there. Councillor Leacock, you want?
Yes, I mean, really just to agree with that, Chair. I mean, we do have a responsibility to members of the public, and it is very dark outside that hall in the evenings. So, you know, I think that is a priority, and certainly one that I would support.
Thank you. Just I'd like to add a contribution there. I'm just amazed and at the here we are getting word twisted. Herculean task that the new management body made with this. I mean, it was almost being closed and sold off before we got involved, and the new committee or management committee was put up, and they ran with it and they spread the word, and they did a huge amount of work connecting to the community through Facebook, through word of mouth. And they were doing roaring business, and then the pandemic came. through no fault of their own. I think they could have probably made a contribution to these if they'd actually been working for the last 2 years. But as we say, these are the basics. They're not asking, to make it prettier or add extra facilities, which they might want to do later, and I don't object. But these are just to keep it running and going. And it's through no fault of their own that they've needed to come to us. And I'm very grateful if we see the Greenham Common Trust come in support of this. So I think it's excellent value for money on a really well-deserved cause within our parish hall. So with that, is that seconded? Thank you. So it's proposed and seconded. Those for, please. And that is unanimous. Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
It's really good news to be able to support them and show them we do care. Wonderful. Okay, to go to item 7, Heritage Working Party, to receive and consider and adopt the minutes of the working party. Right. So was there anybody else? So Mark, you were there.
I was. I can certainly propose that, Chair.
Okay, and I'll second that from the chair. Been a very trusting fellow, so any questions or comments on the minutes? Any things that we wish to root out of here on?
No, Chairman, there's no recommendations arising from that meeting.
Okay. So we need to vote on them, yes? To accept those four. Thank you. It's unanimous. Thank you. We come to item 8, Environmental Working Party, to consider the adoption of the minutes and of the Environmental Working Party meetings held on the 24th of March, 8th of April, 2nd of June, 18th of August, 29th of September, November, 17th of November. These are all in 21, and it shows you how hard working, I would say, being one of the members that we have been in case, and including the 19th of January. But we do are there items that we need to accept.
No, firstly, apologies, there's so many. We're a bit of a case of catch up.
Yes.
When we've been chopping and changing between committees and working parties. But all of the minutes, apart from the January ones, have been agreed as a true record by the working party, and there's no outstanding actions that the committee needs to do.
Okay. Fine. Are there any questions?
Oh, sorry, that wasn't going to be a question.
No. Well, I'll accept that as a proposal. Is that seconded? Oh, I think we're all there. So there's 4. Thank you. That's unanimous. I'm going to move to item 9, instance of no instance of vandalism and antisocial behaviour have been logged between the 22nd of February and the 14th of March.
Chairman, may I ask, not through you, what causes something to be logged by us? Because much as I would love to believe and say with a straight face there had been no vandalism or antisocial behaviour between the 22nd of February and the 14th of March this year, I can assure you from personal knowledge there certainly has been items of both. What is it that actually triggers it being on our agenda as an item, please?
It's anything that's reported to us here directly by a member of the public or is picked up by an officer when they're out and about.
Yeah.
Nothing more than is reported to us.
So in other words, if I may, Chairman.
Yes,
so
you could report them yourself, yeah.
Yeah. But if somebody's run 999 or 101 and alerted the police or whatever, then it won't appear here. Or would it ever appear here? No, not really. There's nothing to report it.
Only actually to ourselves. Okay, well, whichever way you look at that, that is good. I can't remember that often where we've actually said we've not had anything reported to us. So maybe things are getting better.
Chairman, proposed noted.
Thank you. Second that, and those 4 noted. Thank you. Well, that's good news. Right, item 10, approvals of payments to receive and consider approval of the proposed payments due to the impressed account. Any questions or comments or propositions?
No, there's not a proposition. No, these are questions. These are questions.
Please go ahead.
AES, the very first one there. What notice boards where? Please.
Okay, to respond.
Yeah, please, yeah.
We had two that were vandalised, one by Whitelands Park School and one by Parsons Down School. And they were subject to insurance claim. So we have been reimbursed.
Forgive me, I was thrown by install, sadly, if it had said reinstall or repair or whatever. And I was thinking, I don't know about any new. Can I continue?
Please do.
Make sure that I need it in pencils. I'm going to look very carefully. Replace emergency lights with nurse, and where and why. That's on page 2919, 1 to 3rd item down.
That is at the public toilets in the Broadway as part of the refurbishment works.
Oh, I see. So this is actually a part of the refurbishment, and it's not being paid through the right. Got that. Thank you very much.
Under law, I think there's you actually have to change them on a reasonably regular basis, well, 10 years or something like that, because obviously a lot of them are battery backed up and such like. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, I have. This is one which irritates me considerably. I was just trying to think what the right wording was in a public meeting. If we go to the item, the very last one, Shandon West, this council does not own the Birdwood Centre. West Berkshire Council owns it, and there is the polite legal fiction that because they own it and we run it, we have to pay a rent for it, and the rent is £5 per annum. West Berkshire Council, an organisation that comes to us and sends us a little letter saying, guess how much your council tax is this year, last week, is actually generating physically 4 invoices of £1.25 per quarter to this council. If they generate one for £5 once a year, it will still not cover the cost of generating an invoice. The notion that, having raised this issue once before, that West Berkshire cannot get its gear together, its act together, to allow us to have one invoice per annum that doesn't have to be processed once every 3 months by us, doesn't have to be an invoice by them once every 3 months. It is so profound. I shudder to think, I don't even dare ask the clerk through you how much we have to pay to process and activate and make a payment to somebody that we're doing something with. So can we please now write formally to West Berkshire Council and say that starting with the new financial year, we expect to get one invoice for £5 per annum and not 4 invoices for £1.25.
I think there's no harm in requesting that. But the only flaw I've seen that cunning plan of yours is that they may say, oh, well, we better put it up to £25.
I think they can.
So we might. Yes.
Can I just add one rider to Councillor Jeffrey's otherwise excellent solution?
Cunning plan.
If West Berkshire come back and say that will require a variation of the lease and therefore that will require solicitors, actually state that it is payable quarterly.
Yeah.
Can I very strongly suggest that we do not go down the line of paying solicitors
£500 later.
500 quid or whatever we would have to pay them for a variation of the lease, please?
Seconds like.
In that case, Chairman, I just propose that we instruct our clerk to be in contact and to ask West Berkshire to find some mechanism to introduce a smidgen of common sense.
I suppose, what was in the 1970s was quite a lot of money. It's not quite so much anymore, is it?
No, it wasn't. £5 a year was not a lot of money.
We couldn't.
I was there. I remember.
It's giving them peppercorns instead.
It's about
The old-fashioned-
the 1980s anyway, wasn't it? It was the 1980s. But
70s.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, definitely.
We'll take this argument out of the room. I'll meet you at
No,
meet you at dawn.
we're talking facts.
It's the 80s.
It was. It was the 70s. You didn't hear that clearly. No, I'm interested. But I moved here in 83. They must have been very, very new. Anyway, forward and onward. Thank you. A little diversion. Right,
Do we need
and
to note those? Because we had comments on them.
what?
We had comments, questions. Did we note them? We did, okay.
No. I think it was thoroughly noted. Right, okay, on reports by town council.
I don't believe we've approved.
Oh.
comments.
You see, you distract me. Jeffrey. I'm not used to this. It's been meeting and live, Would you like to make a propose?
Yes, sorry, I beg your pardon. Yes, propose that we approved.
I did ask for that earlier, but we declined. Is that seconded? And by councillor Cole, thank you. And those four, duly noted. With a lot of frippery around as well. Okay, so rapidly now move on to item 11, reports to outside bodies. Mark, have you got anything for Friends of the Thatcham Library?
Only one thing, Chair, which carrying on from what I said at the last RNA meeting, that whilst everyone's very pleased about the construction work that's going to be going on at the library shortly, at the time of the last Friends meeting, at least, nobody knew the date that this work would be carried out, or how long it would go on for, or whether the library would close down, or whether the Friends would be able to do anything at the library at that time. And there was particular concern that would happen around the time of the celebrations for the Jubilee, which the library was taking quite a key part in. So if there's anything we can do to find out when the work will be completed, then I think the Friends may be grateful for that information.
Make a request for information.
Chairman, I do have the draft dates.
You do?
Oh, you do.
Those
Oh.
of councillor.
Yes, but also to the committee as well, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Henrik, Son, do you want to contribute to anything there?
I'm trying to think when our last meeting was, but basically, I think the key thing is that the what's the phrase? The master plan is now firmly committed and will start shortly. That's a master plan for the long-term future strategy for the field.
Which is part of our policy, is to have a strategy, because it is being highly used and we need to refine the usage. For example, considering, do we want Reading Football Club to come and practice there, when that might be just displace a local club and things like this. So there are many issues that might be considered.
We've got practice ground.
Well, yeah, it's called Hennick Lane, Hennick Field, apparently. Okay, if we move on then, Kenneth. No, nothing. We've not had a meeting as yet. Thatcham Old Bluecoat School. I was at a ceremony. Back in ceremony on Friday, where to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Queen, we planted an English maple, I think it was, in the gardens of the Old Bluecoat School. But also I took an opportunity, as I had everybody there as well, to discuss the parking issues that we were being made as a proposal by West Berkshire School, West Berkshire Council and the relevant schools. And I think they pretty much replicated what we discussed, and they are concerned about the usage on a permanent, regular basis by the schools because of maintenance and such like. Also, how it would be regulated, passes need to be met. And they just see quite a bit of complexity, who would be legally insured, and so on and so forth. So there's an update for us when we come back and readdress this. So there is a concern. They were being very reasonable and saying, yes, of course, we'll hear what the town council wants to do, but I think in this case, I'm getting their feedback directly from them. Mike?
Sorry, Jay. Purely to declare an interest as chairman of directors of the Kennet Schools Academy Trust, which includes Francis Bailey and Kennet.
Thank you. So that will be incorporated into our next discussions. From that, I'm waiting for Mike Aslam to actually make an appointment between myself and the schools and the council to actually gather their view. But it was very helpful that Friday to go on. We'll go forward. You want to say something there, Mike?
Only, Chair, I have emailed yourself and Councillor Ardell-Water as the West Berkshire representative on behalf of the Trust, inviting you to both to a meeting following the picking up of the, that was last week.
Okay, I've been away in Bristol, so my apologies.
Just inviting you for a coffee in the sixth form coffee space.
Okay.
Rubbing salt in the wound because all of your children and all of Councillor Ardell-Water's children left before we actually created.
Yes, indeed. The less said, the better. And I will. This is where it comes the great difficulty I have of having about 200 emails a week. Sometimes I miss them. Thank you, Mike, for pointing that out.
That few.
Oh, it seems enough to me. Okay, so.
I just said I'd get 3 or 4 myself.
We all do, don't we? Okay, so let us, going back to, we don't have anything from, I take it, Councillor Field. I don't have anything from Councillor Lourdes-Cottam.
Chairman, can I just throw a comment in? I know I'm not the appointee on the dementia friendly forum, but it looks as if there's some life coming back into it, that people are beginning to start trying to get geared up to get meetings going again. And as we all know, as we go past the garden, we see that the pathways are now getting to the state where they're nearly finished with the topping. And the next bit after that is going to be to put the planting in. And I think we are probably looking at, by the middle of the year, having a nice dementia-friendly garden there. And that's just got to be such
something to look forward to again, beside the ballway. And that, I mean, it's something's coming to fruition.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes so long
Yes.
to get these things to come forward that we forget. Right, thank you. Thatcham Memorial Foundation.
Yeah, my apologies, Chair. I haven't been able to attend a meeting because of family reasons for the last 2 months. But I don't think there is anything significant to report what I've picked up.
Okay, thank you. And Thatcham Parish Hall Management Committee, Simon?
I think we've addressed that.
We've done that thoroughly today.
Any more?
Okay. Councillor John Boyd ran out of the room when I arrived. That's to happen. Okay, we don't have a report from him, I believe. And West Berkshire Heritage Forum, don't think we have anything there either.
Chairman, can I just ask, with the Heritage Forum, this is run by West Berkshire and is meant to be doing what? Do you happen to know, Madam Clerk, through the chair?
I don't think it's West Berkshire Council. I think it's an independent group of volunteers who run it.
Right. Oh, we just asked Christine a bit more about it. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. I think, gosh, I beat you, Chairman of the Town Centre Committee.
And the meeting's still going on, nothing's been closed yet, so.
I think that's it. I think the issues matters.
No, that's all.
Wonderful. Therefore, we will end earlier than the Town Centre Committee at 29 minutes past 7.
I think